You had to be underprivileged and undernourished. That's how thin I was. Skinny. All kids were skinny. There were no fat kids because we didn't have junk food. So everybody was going to this camp happy. And it was in Philadelphia, which I always thought it was out in the country. And so everybody's going, and you had to be tested by a doctor at a health facility. So I said to my aunt, who was my boss, that I wanted to go to this camp. I had to be 9 or 10. And she said, I couldn't go. You are not going. You have never been away from home. And I was like the baby of the family. And so my sisters are saying, let her go, let her go. And so I finally told my aunt, please let me go. My friends are going, it's 3 weeks in the country, and it's getting special meals. They have movies and shows. So they said that I probably wouldn't pass the test. You had to be underweight, but not that much underweight, a certain poundage for your height. I went, my aunt took me. She was like the mother. She took me to this public health thing, and they weighed me and said I could go, and they gave me a uniform. And I'll never forget, it was navy blue with a yellow trim, and they printed in pencil your name. And you had to have a bag with a drawstring, almost like an old-fashioned clothespin bag. And I remember sitting with 2 pieces of material so that you had to have this bag to put the stuff in. And I remember all my girlfriends were sitting outside sewing material by hand so that we could have a bag. You never had a suitcase. And you just threw underwear in there. You had to wash your own underwear. And these 2 outfits that you wore all the time. And so I went to this camp, a bus at one of the public schools, picked all of us up. As soon as I got there, and it was a dissolution. It was like a wooden cabin with no screens, no mosquitos, but it had army cots and army blankets, a scratchy olive army blankets on. And so as long as they were happy, I was happy. I had never seen a swimming pool. I didn't have a pool. But all of a sudden, there were so many kids there. It was like thousands of kids. You were in a pool, all you could do was stand. There was that many kids. And they had crafts. We had to sit and sew baskets. And they had all these things you had to do, make the bed, stand out, and sing to the manager of the park and salute the flag and all this other stuff. And then the meals, they came like you were in the army. You came with a metal cup, and they put the oatmeal in. And everybody started saying it had roaches in it. And I could not eat. I was so homesick and so crying, so bad. I was not happy there. And so Josephine's not happy, and she's crying, and I'm crying. This Meredith Sedgwick's crying. They had a guard outside this place. It was like you were in prison. We pictured how we could run home, how we could get out to the highway. We'd see cars, but we didn't know where we were. Let's run away. But they had a spotlight on at night, and they had a guard. You had this uniform on that lit up in the dark, and you were going to be out in the woods, and these animals were going to get you. So she talked to a counselor. Would you please get a postcard? Because we had been given 2 postcards right to home and 2 stamps. We could do any mail, but they read it before they would send it to you. But she could take it out and take it home and mail it. So she wrote to her sister, tell Mrs. Dowling, Mrs. Lucetic, and my mom to come and get us. Mrs. Lucetic came. Mrs. Soloway came, but my Aunt Peg did not come. You wanted to go there, you're going. So I was there 3 weeks, and the most miserable 3 weeks I ever spent, and I lost weight there. I remember my mother coming for me. They weigh you and ask you how you like it, and you're in front of a doctor, and they're checking you all out. I was so afraid that I had cooties from all these people, and I stood on the scale, and the nurse said, oh my goodness, of all the children here, she has lost so much. I was really thin. I'll never forget that. That was a worst experience.